So, why Harvard? Tell me something I can't read in your application. Who are you? What are the things that make you, you?
Now clean it up. Brotherhood's not a bond to break it, not to be taken lightly. Outsiders who try the luck just seem to get beaten badly. Loyalty shifting out, my friend, and that's not the way to go.
Dad? Estas son las mañanitas que cantaba el rey David.
Can't believe you're doing this. But you told me it'd be awesome.
It is awesome. What is a girl? Is she a soft and cuddly vision in a pink sweater? A lady in a dress and a come-hither smile? Under that dress, that sweater, she may as well have the words bitch or whore scrawled in magic marker on her belly. She's no girl, she's a girl. A riot girl.
Cool. Scary chick screaming. I can dig it.
Hey, they're proving a point, you know, okay? They're angry women.
Jack.
That's enough of this.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we're super excited to have with us here the writer, director, and producer extraordinaire of this brand new film, Acid Test, that I just had the luxury of seeing a few weeks ago. Jenny Waldo. Hello, Jenny.
Hello.
Hi. Your film is crazy. It's about a young lady in 1992 who starts to begin to experiment not only with the dangerous drug of LSD, but I'm just kidding, it's not very dangerous, but also the dangerous drug of riot girl punk rock in the 90s. Your Catherine Hannis and all that. Love me some Bikini Kills. And that's part of one of the things I loved about it. Can you kind of give people a little bit more insight into the film if they haven't seen it or anything like that?
Yeah, well, it's as you said, it's set in 1992. It's based on my own terrible teenage years, and I was really inspired by riot girl music, like you said, Bikini Kill, Kathleen Hanna, and I'm originally from Washington, D.C., and that's where Bikini Kill was based at the time, and so I got to see them at the very beginning, and it just really informed my my feminism, my growing up, and gave me a place to kind of scream into the void of and I hadn't really seen much of that in films, and I've been a filmmaker for a long time, and was kind of looking to get my first feature film off the ground, and decided, just felt like this was a great story, and so I had it was just like a great element, and I had this experience when I was young where I dropped acid at a concert and then went home to my parents and told them I was tripping, and they completely freaked out while I was still tripping, and that kind of became the basis of a short film also called Acid Test, which we used as kind of an experimentation ground, to try and figure out how to film this stuff, how to do the visual effects, how to shoot a concert scene in an authentic way, all of these things. And through that, we were able to adapt it into this feature film, which is centered on a Latina teen, which was, a discovery that we made in casting Juliana Di Stefano, who was just amazing as the lead character, Jenny. And she's exploring her, who she is. She's about to turn 18. There's a presidential election going on. There's just she's got a domineering father, and she's trying to kind of find her own voice. And Riot Girl comes into play. There's this kind of bad boy character friend from school who leads her down the path of dropping acid, and it just allows her to kind of start finding her own path in this movie.
I love that you touched on two things there that I wanted to touch on. And that first thing is your this movie Acid Test was originally based on a short, which was an acid test for the acid test, essentially.
Yeah. Yes.
And you brought back the best part of that short, which is Juliana DeStefano as Jenny. She's fantastic. So yeah, I agree with you. She's excellent. She really embodies the character. One of the things that I wanted to touch on that I loved is there's this conflict between her and her father, between this 80s era Reagan Republican yuppie and this new underground movement, this almost bohemian mindset that the early 90s wrought, that Jenny is sort of the face of that revolution in this case. Can you talk about the struggle? Was that a struggle that you dealt with and you're pulling from that, or is that something that you just sort of thought would work really well on the page as well?
Well, as a first-time feature director and writer, I felt like the best thing that I could do, which was also kind of personally difficult, was to pull from my own life, in the sense that I could point to every moment in the movie and say, this is a true moment in my life. Now, it is adapted, it is fictional in that sense. Things didn't happen exactly how they happened in the movie. There's a lot of changes, but the overall construct of it and the themes and the moments that happen were rooted in some form of my own experience. My mother is an immigrant from the Czech Republic, so that kind of immigrant mother character was something that was important to me. My father is a very typical patriarch, in that sense, and as much as he wanted the best for me, he kind of wanted me to do it in his own, in his way. And that was a struggle. I mean, he there was a lot of conflict at home, not just with myself as a teenager, but with my parents, and trying to kind of grow up in that environment and figure out who you are and how to stand up for yourself when you kind of can't stand up for yourself, and people around you and your family can't stand up for themselves. That was something that again just made Riot Girl so inspirational. So those were things that, yeah, every moment, for better or worse. I mean, some things were better in the movie and worse in real life, and vice versa. So but that was definitely something that I wanted to be able to speak from a point of authenticity, especially since I was adapting it to a slightly a different culture and a different country of origin for the mother character. That I felt like that was the only way that I could kind of hold on to that, or like feel like this was something that I could speak to, because then I could collaborate with my actors and be like, okay, this is what's true for me, and then they could find their truth from their perspective, and we could kind of find the truth out of that. So
I think you really nailed that, because that mother character reminded me a lot of my dad. My dad's an immigrant from a Central American country, so that Latino mindset of just do whatever, and my mom being this lovely domineering Caucasian woman, God rest her soul, just sort of I saw a lot of her in the dad character, and I saw a lot of my dad in the mom character, because I have the roles reversed, and I thought that was really cool to see it. And so I sort of related to Jenny in a way, and it was nice to see. So I have to commend you for that, because oftentimes we don't get that representation, and it's not done correctly on screen. So well done. Insofar as your concert shots and the tripping ball scenes, you nailed those. Those looked great. The concert shots, I felt like I was at a grungy DC club where Bad Brains probably just got done with a set, and now this Riot Girl band's about to go out there and tear something up. As you can tell, I'm a bit of a punk rock historian.
Yes, yes, yes.
And it just had that
that's a
vibe.
great compliment. It really is a great compliment. It was something like I said, it was really important to me to capture it. I really hate concert scenes in most movies because it's kind of clear that they're just dancing to a click track, and there are actors performing instead of the actual band members singing. And I didn't want to license old music and have actors play it out. I wouldn't have minded actually doing covers because some of those songs have become so iconic, but I loved the bands that we were able to find. They're all Texas bands. And I had worked closely with the main band, Giant Kitty, a lot. I had done a couple of their music videos, and I just wanted to be able to capture that feeling. And so we actually shot the concert documentary style. We actually had a live concert. We threw a live concert that was open to the public, where Pleasure Venom and Faya, Imposter Boys, and Brit played live to a concert, and we had 3 cameras covering it. We had our A camera operated by Carrie Ann Parker, our DP, who focused obviously on our actors who were kind of experiencing the concert and trying to get that footage. And then we had a B and a C camera covering the rest of the concert. And so I just, when you look at those photos from people who were like in the concert, I mean, I was just trying to capture that feeling of being viscerally there, and similarly with the acid test, the tripping, it was wanting to take the audience on a trip and not do it in a way that was kind of cheesy, overdone effects that we've seen a lot before. That was something that we had been really mindful of since the short film. And again, just making it part of the thematic story. I mean, literally when I was tripping, I did see words and letters in my field of vision. So it wasn't like, oh, this would be a great visual effect. I mean, this literally happened to me. And it's one of the reasons why the story had stuck with me, my story had stuck with me for so long, because it was a moment in my life where, as a teenager out of her mind, I was still writing. It just kind of, to me, became this representation of my identity as a writer, because I was literally seeing words and I was hearing things. And I've talked with other people who are like, oh yeah, I would write all the time when I was tripping. So I know it's not unique to me, but it was just something that when I got into it with my parents, when I came back after the concert, and I was like, I need a paper and pen, I need something, I need a crayon, that just spoke to me as being a writer. And it's something that I ended up pursuing as a career. So it's really special to me.
I love that. You use one of my favorite words, and I think it's really an apropos word, and that's visceral. It reminded me of a film I saw about 3 years ago called Bliss. It's a vampire film about a drug addict vampire, and the way that everything is shot is very similar. And I know not a lot of people saw the movie, so I know that wasn't probably an inspiration for you, but I loved the way that those were shot.
I'll have to check it out. I have heard of it. So.
It's weird. It's a weird one. We got all that fun stuff out of the way. I'm going to ask you a fun question I ask every guest, and this is probably the hardest question I'm going to ask you today. Let's suppose you could only watch 2 movies for the rest of your life. What are you picking, and why?
Oh God, this is like the what's your favorite movie question. It is a terribly hard question, because I do love a lot of different things. For a lot of different reasons, and especially when you're a filmmaker or like in the profession, there's this pressure to like say something smart, or I don't know, like something that other people can like respect. But I always fall on my guilty pleasure, like, because if I have to watch it over and over again, I might as well pick something that I already know that I would watch over and over again. And the one movie that has kind of stood the test of time for me is the movie Say Anything with John Cusack.
That's a great
Totally
movie.
love that movie. Totally love it. I identify with his character way too much. And oh god, for another one, I haven't had to come up with like a second one. And
In Your Eyes is a
so
great Peter Gabriel track, by the way.
oh god, great song. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, I don't know. I don't know what my other. I mean, a movie that was kind of, to a certain extent, part of the inspiration. One of the things that was actually cut from Acid Test was a scene where, after the tripping at the concert, they all go back to Drea's apartment. And there's actually a scene there. Like in the movie, we wake up, to the morning after at Drea's apartment, but there was actually a scene that we shot. And part of that was them sitting down and watching a movie. And we had a VHS tape and everything, because I had it my entire life because I love this movie so much. It's the animated movie Last Unicorn.
Oh, dude, yeah, that's a really deep '80s cut for anybody who hasn't seen it. That's a good one. Yeah, that's one of those animated movies people don't think exists.
Right,
but it does.
So phenomenally beautiful and weird and scary. I mean, it terrified me as a child, but it also just, and the songs. Oh, I love that movie.
It's like a mixture of like Rankin and Bass, Hobbit, and like the Labyrinth together.
Yeah. Labyrinth is a great movie too. Yeah.
Those are great picks. Those are great picks. And I love that you went authentic, because a lot of people try to do the snooty, like, I'm a director, I have to pick this. No, those are great picks. Let me ask you, because this is a special circumstance here. You've made a film that is very, very punk rock. You obviously lived that lifestyle. Is there a record for you that sticks out from that time period as one you had on repeat a lot?
My favorite band was a local DC band called Slant Six. And they had an album, I think it's called Insomnia or something like that. And that was one that I played a lot. I mean, just so much, so much. I mean, again, love Bikini Kill. And there were just a bunch of, bands at that time that I love, but Slant Six was special to me.
Insomnia, that is a very local band album name. I'm not gonna lie to you. I love it. I'm gonna go check them out now. I'm not gonna lie to you.
You can find them still. Their music is still like on whatever iTunes and stuff. I had put together like a mixtape when I was doing crowdfunding, and had featured a bunch of their bands. And was a huge Sonic Youth fan. I mean, yeah, that stuff. Yeah.
Who isn't? Love Sonic Youth.
Yeah.
So before I let you go, can you tell people why they should check out Acid Test when it comes out?
All right. Acid Test is going to be released on rental platforms like iTunes, Amazon, Vudu, wherever you can rent movies, on October 4th. It is a family drama wrapped in an acid trip. So it's a lot of fun. It's got a lot of heart. And I think it's, it speaks to a lot of timeless themes about finding yourself and figuring out who you are. And yeah, I'm just so proud of it and want to hear people's thoughts and opinions about it. And yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you said that, because our thoughts will be out timed with this interview right around October 4th when the film comes out. But I can tell you right now, spoiler alert, I really liked the film and I really enjoyed how you put it together. So thank you so much, Jenny, for spending time with me today, just letting us talk to you about your cool movie. And I can't wait for people to check it out, because I really think that it's going to speak to them and they're going to enjoy the experience that is the Acid Test here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Wonderful rest of your day. And for Film Snob Reviews, this has been William, and we'll see you later.
All right.